Everyone, hello and welcome back to Nick Does Algos. In this lesson, we'll be covering the Hackerrank medium-rated algorithm called Encryption. So gist of this question is that you were provided a string and you want to encrypt this string, and you want to encrypt it by making, how would I say this, substrings for the ceiling of the square root of the characters in the string. So in this example, this string is 54 characters long. If you took the square root, you get a number between 7 and 8. The ceiling of that is 8. So you would break this down into 8 separate substrings. And each substring would be distorted. It wouldn't just be these first 7 letters go into your first substring. It would be the first letter, every 7th letter, or every 8th letter, I think. Yeah, every 8th letter would be added to your substring. So first substring would be not be if man was meant, it would be scattered. So I would be the first letter in this substring. F, the next character, would be the first letter in this substring. The third letter would be in the third substring, the fourth letter in the fourth substring, and so on and so forth until you get to 8. You'll have 8 substrings of all these scattered letters. So that's the gist of it, really. There are some other examples if you want to check those out, but let's go ahead and head over to Replit and start to get to work. So we are dealing with a string. S is a string with no spaces in it, so you don't need to worry about any space characters or anything like that. And we mentioned square root, so we'll definitely want to first find the square root of that length. So we can set a variable of square root equal to, not minus, square root equal to the length of s, and asterisk asterisk 0.5 is my favorite way to write square root. So there you go, that will give us our square root. And let's set a variable of column. The logic I just laid out, essentially column is the substring. The number of columns and number of substrings go hand in hand. And this question indicates row as well. But in the method that we're using to solve this problem, we don't need to involve the row. The column logic is all that we need. So what would the column be? It would be math.ceil. It's the ceiling of this square root number. So we can go ahead and pop square root into there, and that should give us our column. And next what we'll need to do is initialize our answer container. And normally I would do something like this, where I would multiply answer by our column number to give us an array of empty arrays, and I'll show you by printing that. Oh, print ants. But this method was actually giving me a bunch of trouble. I was having some weird issues going on. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to do that method. We will just set answer to an array, and then we will write a loop to append empty arrays to our answer array. And we'll write that by for num in range call colon ants.append empty array. And what is that? Well, that is adding an empty array into our answer array, and each of those represents those substrings that we're building out. So columns is the number of substrings that we want, and by doing this for the range up to columns, we will add a column and a empty array for each column. And let's go ahead and print ants. It's going to be that same thing that's in our console right now. Like I said, just with a little bit different functionality than the other method I just walked through. If you guys know why I was having trouble with that other method, please throw it down in the comments. I don't know why it wasn't working, but yeah, if you know, please share. Okay, so there we go. We've got our answer array set up with four separate substring arrays inside of it. And now what do we want to do? Well, we want to loop through our string and add this first character to the first subarray. Add the second character to the second subarray. Add this third character to the third subarray. And of course, this subarray will have the index of 0. This subarray will have the index of 1. This subarray will have the index of 3. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you're familiar with loops, you may already realize that we're going to be using our modulo. So we can write for I in range, let's spell range correctly, and we can do length of s here. And we can, let's set an index variable. Let's get this indented so it's inside of our loop. Let's set an index variable equal to I modulo call. So we have 4 columns, right? And a good way to add our characters to the proper subarrays is using the modulo feature, because what's actually going to happen here, our first I is going to, oh, I need my in. I'm always forgetting my in. Our first I is going to be 0, right? We're going to start at 0. What is 0 modulo column? Well, it's 0. That means that we can take that index value and we can go like this. We can go answer at index, and we can append the character that happens at that I position. So let's walk through this. What is I? I is 0. 0 modulo 4, what is that? That is 0. So we've set our index equal to 0. We'll go into index. What is our, we'll go into our answer array. What is answer array index 0? Well, that's this first subarray. And then we will go to our string. We will pluck the 0th position of our string, and we will pop it into our first subarray. And then when would that happen again? Well, that would happen again at, okay, what do I mean by that? When would the next index 0 happen? That would happen when I is 4. So when I is 4, 4 of I modulo column is 0 again. And then at answer 0, we would append s of 4 because I has moved up to 4. So that would pop in, what would that pop in? I think it would put the A in there. It would put the A in that first substring. So really, we're just walking through. We're first character is going the first subarray, second character is going the second, third in the third, fourth in the fourth. And then, okay, we finished our walk through the subarrays. We'll go to the 5th character and we'll add that back to the first one. The 6th character will be in the second one, and so on and so forth. And that is the power of the modulo in this scenario. So let's go ahead and print our answer to see what we are currently working with. Whoa, lots of characters popping up in my face. Sorry about that. All right, we'll print that. And there you go. We get our substrings. They are appearing correctly. We've got the right characters in the right places, which is awesome. And now it's really just a formatting thing. So what do we need to do from here in order to give Hackerrank what it wants? So we'll go for num in range call. And what will that be? That will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. And we will answer num as the index is equal to parentheses space dot join ants num. And I will walk through all that if you guys aren't quite understanding what's happening. Okay, so what are we doing? We are selecting our subarrays. So what is ants index num? That's our first subarray. And this space dot join, oh, we don't want a space actually. We don't want no spaces between our letters. This empty string dot join will take our first subarray and bring it all together into one string. So let's go ahead and now print our ants and see what we're getting. There you go. We've taken our first subarray and we have combined it into one little string. And then we can go ahead and do another step. We can get rid of this print. That's not really, we'll leave it there, I guess, just for sake of the example. And we will print, we will basically do the same thing we just did to our subarray to our greater array, but we do want a space in between each word. So we'll put a space in that empty string and we'll do join ants. And that should give us what we're looking for. There you go. All right, awesome. So I will just go ahead and copy this that I have in my VS Code. Basically, it's the same code. It's the same code, I promise. It's just cleaned up. I got rid of the prints. I did some consolidation of the code. Like here, we had index is equal to I modulo call, but I simplified that to just put it in here instead of writing index here. So I'm going to Control Command Z that stuff, undo it, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and run this code just to double check that it's operating, and there you go. We will submit against all test cases, and hopefully we'll get some passes. Also, I totally understand that this is not the only way to solve this problem. There's some other clever solutions out there. I was trying to avoid doing any loops inside of loops, and that's what I wound up with. But if you have a better solution, if you have something you like a little bit more, by all means, go ahead and share it down in the comments. If you have any questions at all about this algorithm, also drop them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you out any bit, please go ahead and hit the like button. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are currently covering algorithms. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We cover a new algorithm just about every day. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.